What's up, everybody? So, 40K has made some headway, you could say, in the video gaming world with the success of Dawn of War series overall, even though, like I mentioned, Dawn of War 3 underperformed and it's basically done for anything major. But on the whole, it was a successful franchise and it sparked forth more 40K titles and the like in video gaming in more of a pop culture situation, which for our hobby is ultimately a good thing. A lot of people got their interest in Dawn of War or in 40K from Dawn of War, and the trend can continue with other games. And one of the newer games to do this, or have the potential, I should say, to do this, will be Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr. Now, this game is not the same developers as Dawn of War at all, but I think given how it's or what it will tap into in terms of gameplay style and all that, I think it has a really good chance of being kind of a Dawn of War level potential of getting people interested in the 40K universe. Uh, it's a very Diablo esque game. In my opinion, it's like Diablo meets Dawn of War 2 Retribution in terms of how things are handled a bit, um, or Torchlight and so forth. It's that style of gameplay, isometric camera, um, leveling up your class, having skill trees, gear, and the like, and all that jazz. It handles the same way. So basically, what you're looking at is a PC game on Steam. I don't think it's got access elsewhere in terms of consoles. I think it's just PC. It's on Steam. It's an early access game at the moment, meaning you pay the price of the full game, but you get to play it early. Instead of just being up for pre-order and waiting for it to come out as a full game whenever that is, you're getting the ability to play through the game now with the understanding that it's not done. They're continually updating it and gaining access to it and all that. Or not so much gaining access, but they're continuing to update it, they're continuing to tweak it, fix it. You gain access to playing the game as they're doing this, but you have to understand it's not finished. So there's placeholder cinematics, there's bugs, possible crashes that will happen as they continually update, improve, and build the game fully. It's currently in the alpha build, so it's pretty early on, but it's fun regardless. I played a few hours of it, and I'm enjoying my time with it. You have three classes. I don't know if they're going to make any more past that. The three classes cover things pretty well. You got your Crusader, which is basically your warrior. You got your Assassin, which is, well, your assassin. You got your Psyker class, which is your mage, basically. And each class has three subsets to pick, which gives you your starting capability, gear-wise, and all that. They're fun. And you kind of get dropped into the thick of it lore-wise and everything with 40K, but it's not something that I think will make people get overwhelmed. It's definitely something that might take some, you play it a bit, and then when you're done playing for a session, you might go, I wonder what they meant when they brought up Amegos Biologus or something like that, and you can look it up and then learn more about 40K that way. But the game does a good job, I think, of not overwhelming the player with exposition and plot build-up and all that. It is something that I feel is going to have the potential to attract an audience that Dawn of War maybe didn't. Dawn of War as a series, I think, is a good benchmark as a successful series for a 40K video game. And that being a real-time strategy series is a very different audience for something like Diablo-esque, like Inquisitor Martyr is. One thing I had to stress it again is an early access game. So if that bothers you, then I would hold off until it's done. The reason I bring that up is because some people can get agitated by the fact that it's getting constantly updated or it's crashing or whatever the case might be, because that's just the nature of the beast with an early access game. But so far as people seem to be, on the most part, having positive vibes for it, which is very hopeful and very cool. I've only had a few hours, like I believe I mentioned, but it's fun. The first 5 missions or so are pure tutorial, and not a bad thing, but it kind of gets you a feel for the game setup, how it works. There's different mission modes. So what makes it different is instead of questing like in Diablo or Torchlight or what have you, what you're doing is you're doing separate missions, kind of Dawn of War 2 style, and in almost a similar vein as Dawn of War 2 having kind of different setups for missions, Inquisitor Martyr has different setups for missions as well. There's assassination, there's defend, there's basic missions, and so forth. Again, different developer. Don't confuse the two. They're not the same developer, but in terms of the vibes I personally get from the game, it's like Dawn of War 2 Retribution mission style alongside Diablo style gameplay, and it makes for something pretty interesting. The way the mechanics for the gameplay are set up, I could easily see them being able to throw in future classes. Now, it's done under the lens of an Inquisitor, so I very much doubt we'll see a Space Marine class, unfortunately, being a big Space Marine fan that I am. But if somehow they did it, it could fit just fine. There's Space Marines in the game, Chaos and Normal. If they wanted to include a Mechanicum class, I know there's a whole Mechanicum game coming, but if they wanted to include a Mechanicum class here, they could as well. It would fit in pretty nicely too. So there's a lot of potential they could do that way. In fact, if they were able to do an expansion or open up to be a more universal 40k RPG style game, I could see the way things are set up. I could see there being, the ability to play an Elder Farseer. I'm not saying this is their plan. I'm saying the way in which the classes are set up, the way in which the game functions, a Farseer could fit in very nicely. Necron Cryptek or Necron Lore could fit in very nicely. It doesn't have to just be Imperium with how the game mechanics are. Now, of course, for the storyline and the plot and the vibe they're going for an Inquisitor build. But if the game does well, who knows what kind of spin-off expansions they could do with it, which is always kind of an exciting prospect. Anyways, just something I thought I'd mention. I've played it for, like I mentioned, a few hours. Early access, as long as it doesn't bother you, it's a fun gameplay. I've enjoyed my time with it. It's a little bit of a learning curve to understand how the game functions, but it's not too over the top crazy. It's just like with any game, you gotta get used to how it wants to do things and how it's set up to do things. One of the nice things is all the gear, very blatantly, when you get it, will tell you if it's better than what you have currently equipped. I guess attribute style or what have you, with a plus 1, 2, 3, whatever, to build your power rating, for lack of a better way of putting it. And what I really like is because you can have two one-handed weapons, one for each hand, equipped. If you get a two-handed weapon that is better than both, it'll tell you you have a +4 versus both, melee weapons, basically, and it'll spell it out for you, which is nice. Not every game in this style will do that in that situation. What's also cool is you have two different weapon loadouts. So if you hit tab in game, you go between weapon loadout 1 and weapon loadout 2. So you can have two weapons, let's say, in one loadout and have a powerful, if maybe slower or different style setup in your second weapon loadout with a two-handed weapon. So that's pretty cool too. Anyways, that's just a quick blurb, initial impressions on Inquisitor Martyr. I think this style of gameplay, I know I personally enjoy it. I think it can be fun. They're handling it in a way where it doesn't just rain loot on you like Diablo 3 does. The way you get loot, of course, you're getting it still from potential drops from enemies as well as at the end of mission stuff, is done and handled well enough that you can have that disconnect for it being a video game without impacting how it might feel in terms of the universe. And I think this could be a way in which people could get into the 40k universe and then like it, see the miniature war game, and get intrigued that way. Plus, if you already played the miniature war game and you like this style of gameplay, I think it could be a lot of fun. And who knows where the future would take this game once it comes out, and hopefully it does well, because I think it has the framework to do well personally. Well, that's it. Have you picked up early access to Inquisitor Martyr? Have you heard about it? What are your thoughts on it? Share it in the comments section below. And until next time, take it easy.